is Atri Chatterjee.
Yes.
My question is there for Brahman compassion?
Compassion always requires two. Compassion. You must have compassion for
Right.
somebody. Brahman doesn't require compassion.
Okay. Got it.
But we require compassion.
Got it.
So, for example, a person who realizes I am Brahman, will that person have compassion for others? Yes. How do you know? First of all, empirical data. Look at the data. Look at the lives of the great saints. Even the arthritic saints. Did they have compassion? Yes. None of them ever said. So, I subscribe to the second view. The world does not exist. And so, all your troubles don't exist. Only Brahman exists. Therefore, I have no compassion for you at all. No enlightened person ever said this. They could have. Didn't say it. They said that it is Brahman alone and I am serving Brahman. Shiva Jnana Jiva Seva, for example. Why am I serving the Jiva? One could just as well say he's a hungry person, that's why I'm feeding him. He says, no. It's my spiritual practice. I am serving Shiva in the form of that hungry person. As Vivekananda said, my God the hungry, my God the sick, my God the poor, my God the wicked. So what is he saying? He's saying Brahman there. And he's serving. So that's the third view. And there is compassion. Why compassion? Because Sri Ramakrishna said, why compassion? Service, seva. He says, not daya, Shiva. Shiva Jnana, Jiva Shiva.
Thank you.
So whole of Vivekananda's and our Ramakrishna Mission doctrine of service and all is based on this non-duality itself. But on the emphasis of the indwelling of Brahman in all beings, including suffering beings. This is a very important question. Akhandananda Swami, Sri Ramakrishna's disciple, who started the orphanage in Sargachi, Murshidabad, and famine relief in those days during the great famine in Bengal at that time. So, one great scholar of Advaita, Pramoda Das Babu from Benares, we are back to Benares again. So, he writes a letter to Swami Akhandananda, says that you are monks, what is all this with schools and orphanages and feeding the hungry and the sick? That's not your work. You should, study Vedanta and teach it to us and then, beg for your food and wander around and all that. The traditional idea. So, Akhandananda writes a fiery letter back to him. He says that this, you are saying about the realization of Atman, of Brahman, but doesn't your Vedanta, he was poking him, doesn't your Vedanta say we are Brahman already? Why should Brahman try for the realization of Brahman? Isn't it already a fact? And then he says, and the same Brahman which you are talking about, I see that Brahman naked in front of me, starving in front of me, dying for a want of a morsel of rice in front of me. I shall serve Brahman in these forms. If it takes me to hell, let it take me to hell. Fiery letter. And Prabhupada Gaur did not reply after that. Yes.
Hello, my name is Reshmi.
Yes.
There are 4 stages of enlightenment that you mentioned.
4 stages of knowledge. In one way, you can say there are 4 stages of knowledge of Brahman. And the last one is really enlightenment.
Is there any scenario, not everybody has access to Vedanta or that capacity to understand, like can anybody achieve enlightenment without the knowledge of Vedanta?
Yes. Because we are Brahman. Vedanta itself would say that. Vedanta is probably the only one which would say you don't have to be a Vedantin or a Hindu. You just have to be any human being who is inquiring. Because the claim is that regardless of what you believe, whether you're a man or a woman or any gender, any race, living in whichever time, wherever you live, you are Brahman. Everything here is Brahman. So why can you not realize that you're Brahman? It's your real nature. It's your spiritual heritage. You should be able to awaken to it. Ramana Maharshi was once asked, am I qualified for Vedanta? And Ramana Maharshi said, did you say I? His method, unique method was, who am I? The same, here Vashishta says to Rama, anybody who inquires, who am I? Will destroy the seed of samsara and attain to realization. So anybody can. But this is a pretty straightforward path. Pretty powerful path. If you say a person does not have the capacity for this, but if you look at all the other paths, any genuine spiritual path is demanding. one says bhakti is easier in some ways, but genuine bhakti is not easy at all. You'll have to be like Ramakrishna, like Mirabai, like Tulsidas, like that. So, yeah. So every path is demanding, and also I think it also depends upon our mental constitution, whether this appeals to you or not. If it appeals to you, it is for you. If it does not appeal to you, but you're a spiritual seeker, I would say that you find a path which appeals to you, but this path at least know it. Just get a working understanding of what it entails. Some people might not be pulled to this kind of teaching. That's alright, that's perfectly alright. Vedanta is very liberal that way. It doesn't say you have to come here. In fact, Vedanta is pretty non-missionary. We are a little more missionary than general traditional Vedanta teachers would put obstacles on your path. They would not easily teach this. They certainly would not advertise online. There's a class coming. No. So we don't do too much of advertising, but we don't do. But we also want that it should be available, because Vivekananda's mission was that the Vedanta which was restricted to a few monks, Vedanta which was restricted to mountain caves and forests, I shall spread it across the cities of the world. That was his mission, and that's what we are trying to do. But still, Vedanta is in spirit, it is very non-missionary. Vedanta is very patient. You want to try something out, what the Americans say? Knock yourself out. We are very patient, we'll be there. Come back 10, 20 years later, 40 years later. We have seen that happening. Somebody comes to Vedanta, I've seen in different Vedanta societies. And then they find something more attractive and nice there, a new teacher, the latest thing, on top of the latest version of some kind of teaching goes there. 20 years, 25 years later, they're back. No, this is the genuine thing. We explored this and that, and we found this is really genuine. If not, suppose, does everybody come back? No, we'll wait next life, you can come back and serve. And it doesn't have to be in this form. It just has to be the teaching that you are that ultimate reality. It can come in English, it can come in through some other tradition, something like that. Yes.